Hey everyone, Chris here. Apologies for not getting my lecture out just yet. I wanted to Honestly, I'm having trouble because I don't want to say goodbye to y'all. So just know that I'm putting something together and I'm going to try to get that out to you either today or tomorrow at the latest. It's not going to be like a huge lecture or anything. I just wanted to kind of wrap up by doing like maybe a quick review or touch in and just having a final kind of exercise in the beginning and all of that. So I figured in the meantime, I could drop a quick video because I'm about to send out the feedback for everybody for their recorded sessions. And there was some stuff that I wanted to share with the class as a whole because it's something to consider just across everything. Um, First and foremost, I wanted to say y'all did it. Like for real, congrats. Like getting through it was the hardest part, right? I tried to provide critical feedback, but like in a way that was supportive and like here's what I might try, if the session were longer or you know just if we were in a future session together to give you a sense of where I might take it based on what I saw. um if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm going to email you your feedback separately to directly to your MSU Denver email accounts. Okay. And if you sent me a Word doc, it's going to be embedded in the comments sections for each section, and then at the end there with the feedback. You've already received your grades. Again, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Um, so, with all that being said, here are some just general thoughts for the whole class. Um, I didn't mention this ahead of time, because telehealth is a weird thing right now, and it was kind of an exception that insurance companies were allowing folks to do telehealth sessions because of COVID. And a lot of those kind of telehealth options are still kind of on the chopping block as far as policy goes, whether or not health insurance will cover that, and if so, to what extent, and yada, yada, yada. So, I didn't think to share these things with y'all ahead of time, but if this is something you end up doing in the future or want to pursue or end up having to do bits and pieces of here or there, just some good things to keep in mind. Um, so with telehealth, it can be a good idea to state where you are physically as a practitioner. So for me, like right now, I'm in my office. But like for example, there was one time that I did a telehealth session from home. I live in a 900 square foot apartment with my partner and my cat, and it is two bedroom, and my partner was home, but in a separate room with the door closed and headphones on. So I let my client know that ahead of time, just in case he heard some movement or something like that. Um, and, made sure that he felt okay and comfortable moving forward with that. And he was. Um, and just relaying, like, if there's anyone else around or the fact that you have an animal or a child that may come into frame, to say hi, just making sure that they're aware of what can happen. I was seeing a psychiatric nurse practitioner when I was going to MSU Denver, because I was diagnosed with ADHD, and she would eat throughout our entire sessions, which if you've ever had like a psychiatrist appointment or a psych NP appointment, it's like 15 minutes long, and she was eating throughout the whole thing. I would see shadows pass her. She didn't have headphones on, but there were like people shadows. And then at one point, I was talking with her and she muted me and was very clearly having a conversation with some rando person, like on the. So I didn't feel exactly safe with that. It was during COVID, so it was kind of one of those things where I didn't really feel like I had any other choices or options. Um, so just making people aware of the space, like the virtual space, and giving them an opportunity to share if there's going to be any interruptions potentially at their home. You want to make sure and confirm with the client that they're in a space where they can talk freely and feel safe. Because sometimes, like if it's a kiddo with parents at home, they might not be as open, as if they were in the office. And so being aware of who can hear you, who can see you, and, you know, double checking to make sure, that the client knows who can see them and hear them as well. especially if you're at home, especially if you have like a blurred background. Sometimes that can be distracting in a different way because folks try to make things out, or are wondering because something moved. Like, is that a person? So again, I didn't tell y'all ahead of this, and I also didn't mark anybody down for anything like that. I just wanted to kind of make you aware that that can be like a trauma-informed thing to do, um, especially in the telehealth space because it can be isolating. And we're in rooms, right? We're in spaces. I could be doing this from a library, and how would you know, right? Um, Everybody's intro, pretty much for the most part, sounded like a script, which of course it did, because y'all are still figuring out how you want to phrase these things, right? Um, so again, didn't mark anything down for anybody there, but I just wanted y'all to know that everybody sounded like they were reading from a script, right? Or mostly everybody. Uh, the other thing too is if you are looking to another screen, like for example, I'm looking at my notes in front of me right now, so I hit on all the points, but like I've got my video of myself on another screen. I saw some folks kind of looking to a second screen or looking down and to the right. Um, if you're taking notes or if you're referring to notes, you can totally tell people that. Just be like, hey, you might see me look down. I'm writing some notes for myself just to make sure I'm capturing everything that's important to you. Um, or, for example, I could do like in my intakes, I have to type a lot of notes. And so if I'm doing a telehealth session, I'll be like, just so you know, you're going to hear me typing a lot and you're going to see me looking away from you. That's because I'm just making sure I capture all this information for our full picture. Um, I promise that future sessions, it's not going to be like that, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's what I'm going to be doing and what you'll be hearing some of. Um, and yeah, also as part of your introduction, in person or virtually, like through telehealth, you can just let folks know, hey, I'm going to be taking notes, just for whatever reason you want to say. Like for me, honestly, it helps me stay focused. If I'm not taking notes, I tend to space out a bit and not be as present. And so like I'll mention keywords and things like that. Or like a question I have that I want to come back to after a client is done speaking, those kinds of things. And then I'll shred those after I write, like type up my notes. Um, some helpful thoughts for folks in general for telehealth or virtual. Depending on if you're going to be potentially using the setups you were using in the recordings, which I know y'all are students, you might have a different setup, but with your eyeglasses, if you have any eyeglasses that you're wearing, um, the screen can be very like reflective and make it difficult to see your eyes. And for some clients, that could actually be really triggering and traumatic, um, especially folks who are diagnosed on the spectrum, and folks who have trauma, a history of trauma. Just because not being able to see people's eyes, like it's very expressive. And so if you've got any glare or shine, you can always like turn the shine of your screen down, like dim it a little bit so that you can still see, but also so that the lighting is not there. Or you can kind of like angle your screen such that it's kind of like, away, just to give you some thoughts. Think about your lighting and the space. So like right now, this is not the best lighting for me, but you can see my whole face. You can, you know, uh, tell what's going on, that there's nothing weird in the background happening. Um, I would also, double check if you do have a blurred background, like, checking in with the client on that. And again, if there is like a movement in the background, like just saying, oh, I have, a pet or, a child or something like that, but you're in my headphones here, they can't hear anything. Um, it's a baby, that kind of thing. Um, and then something else is just kind of where you are in the frame. Because some folks, you were kind of down here like this, like far away, kind of down here in the corner. If you do have the ability of kind of like centering yourself in the frame and kind of not being so far away, that's helpful just because it's kind of, I don't know, it's like a visual thing, and I'm totally being like ultra specific right now. But things to consider just if you're going to be doing this in the future at all. Because, we want to appear as engaged and professional as possible, while still being ourselves, right? Um, but just yeah, wanted to name those things. And also everybody's closing was weird and abrupt. It was nobody like nailed that out of the park. I think there were like one or two people where it wasn't super awkward, but it had to be because like you're just getting into the heart of things at like 10 to 12 minutes. So trying to end the session at that time frame, like if people were knocking it out of the park all the way, I would be worried about that because you shouldn't be able to do that in 12 minutes, right? I think I've said this on in the past on the previous thing. So like the breakdowns of the assignments. So if you want to talk with me at all, feel free to give me an email. I'm still looking for a couple of folks who might want extra credit to do like a separate peer feedback session for another student who um, ended up missing out on the peer feedback sessions just because of a switch up I did. So feel free to email me if you want some extra credits. Um, and yeah, again, congrats everybody. Y'all did great. I think the only thing that people were marked down on was missing pieces of the assignment itself. It was like if you didn't include your feedback for yourself in the self like the skills demonstration template, or if you're missing like the transcript of yourself with the pieces of, your thinking behind it. Those were pretty much the only things. And I think I marked down like a couple little things here or there, but everybody did really well overall. So, and the folks that were missing things, I gave them opportunity to get me stuff. So, yeah, y'all should be really proud. You did really good, and this is not easy. I should show you my recorded session. I can't because that wasn't part of the deal when I did it with my peer partner, but like it was awkward as all get out, and I said so many times, and yeah, it was not great. So these are not supposed to be great, but it's about the practice, right? um so in doing this a couple of times now, you have an idea of what language works for you, as far as like how you want to articulate things when you're introducing yourself or the consents, right? You've tried some things, so you know what works and what doesn't. um yeah, overall really great job everybody. And again, you did the thing. You did the thing. I'll be getting the lecture out soon. All right. I hope you'll have a good rest of your day. And yeah, gosh, I can't believe it's the last week. What? All right.